How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting. Welcome back to ReWrite. So, we're in a pretty cool spot here. We started an investigation. We went to school at night. No red cloaked guy yet, but we're able to work our way back to kind of how we wandered into like the parallel dimension, which we've got more information about finally, which has been so nice. Chihaya mentioned that it is a kind of a discovered dimension where I guess you can kind of do a lot of summoning stuff pretty much for free. It's where like a lot of the energy where we summon comes from. So it's kind of a place where you can go, you can practice, and you can build up your forces. And I guess for some reason, but you can't just like when you the summoners make familiars in this dimension, and then they can pull them through to the real world using their life force. But you have to pull them through in the right place. So it looks like they kind of did a soft recreation of the Kazamatsuri to make it so that you could like find like where the equivalent area is in the real world. But we're in like an unfinished zone, so it looks really different and looks very basic. And it's also where we found Gil and Penny. So probably some a lot of links going on to this like secretive research into familiars is happening. So yeah, we're gonna hopefully get some more actual answers here, which is really fun to see that the dichotomy of where Chihaya seems to be normally such a big airhead, but when it comes to summoner stuff, she knows. She's a professional. She is a well-educated individual, and so it's really kind of cool to see this side of her. I couldn't help though, as I was like booting up the game, it kind of hit me again too. It's like, we were confronted by gosh darn it, I know his name. Yoshino. Confronted by Yoshino about Kotori. Well, obviously it makes sense why, because Yoshino has a crush on Kotori. Who wouldn't? But yeah, like, I still think it's weird that we just haven't thought about her at all. She's probably just holed up in the center guarding the key. Like, that's just kind of what she's doing right now. Losing her mind. I hope she's okay. But, yeah, I'm sure. Unfortunately, I imagine we're going to encounter the key again, so what's that going to end up being like? Who knows? Anyway, let's jump right in and, yeah, let's just continue exploring this alternate dimension, see what happens, and if we can get through without any crazy near-death experiences. So, let's go. The hallway gets more narrow with every step we take. And yet, there's nothing here.
作ったはいいけど、放棄された空間って感じですね。学校もガイアの管理下でしたし、昔はここで何かしようとしてたんでしょうか。
Wait, really?
だから茜さん、いろいろ無茶してたんじゃないですか。
You know what? There's a lot of logic to that. More logic than anything I was able to come up with before. Good point. Prez's power equals Gaia's power.
昔からこの町はいろいろあったみたいですからね。
Like a war?
はい、そう聞いてます。風祭りには空間が異常なほど多く口を開けてますから。
Okay. I wonder if that is a unintended link, a consequence of having the gate or whatever that portal thing is that is at the heart of the forest. That because like Gaia's the Gaia the planet has a natural occurring gateway here, it weakens the boundary of reality in the surrounding area. That's why Gaia claimed it for their own. And it's also why the enemy organization settled here.
勢力争いはガイアの勝利だったみたいですけどね。
Always with the power struggles. They fight a war under the banner of their ideologies, all while ignoring civilians living their lives without ever noticing. Never noticing the doors of the other dimension. Never noticing the familiars that are out for their blood. The war of ideas between Gaia and Guardian rages on. It's actually kind of funny because like the way they built the world building is here is heavily reminiscent right now for me of the Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which is one of my favorite series growing up and still honestly well worthy of watching. It's not perfect, it has its weak points, but I still think it's fantastic, especially season 3. Season 3 I think was my favorite. And then there's later seasons that are pretty good, but season 3 was the one that I think that was just hitting all the marks perfectly. But it has this whole idea of like trying to balance a real life filled with civilians who are, need to be protected but are mostly in the dark, versus this underworld with buying forces and fighting, the vampires and the Slayer and the witches and just the various forces of darkness and like how they battle it out territory-wise, battling over the lives of civilians who have no idea what's going on. So it's like very similar.
どうしました？
Why do you fight Chihaya?
別にいつも戦ってるわけじゃないですけど。
Okay. Why are you in Gaia then?
魔物使いだからです。
So what? Do all summoners have to sign up with Gaia? Do you even agree with anything Gaia says?
どうなんでしょう。
He's like, what?
私はあまりよく思ってません。
I think he doesn't quite understand the fact that like she either was an orphan or was purposely like separated from her family when she was a baby. Sadly, I think the second's probably more likely. When they detect somebody who has like summoner attributes or capabilities, they probably try and spirit them away. Her whole life has been Gaia. I don't think she's known anything else.
ただ、ガイアの魔物使いがガイア以外にいたらおかしいと思います。魔物使いはガイアにいるしかないんですから。
Why are you so fixated on this summoner thing?
お父さんとお母さんも小さい頃亡くなりましたが、二人とも魔物使いでした。私は小さい頃から才能があって、そう育てられてきました。
Like I said, her whole life has been summoners.
それ以外の生き方は知りません。
Chihaya is so laid back that it worries me. Is that really all her life has been about?
実際ほら、私ってすごいんですよ。ガイアで一番の魔物操ってますし。
The top familiar. So, is that the dragon or is that a different one? Oh, maybe it might be the T-Rex. That would constitute a top tier familiar. Uh-huh.
最強な魔物です。
Right. I guess this powerful familiar is why she can afford to be so laid back.
それだけで、多分ガイアは私を離さないんでしょうね。
Your greatest strength is also your greatest curse.
他のどこにも居場所ありませんし。
Huh. Wanna know what I think?
はい
I think there are other ways to live your life.
はい
Well, for example, I try thinking through other careers she could pursue. Crap, I can't think of a single job she'd be good at. What? Are you serious? Look at that crazy strength she's got. She could do so much. Even like, what if she were just like, I don't know, like bouncer or body or like like bodyguard? She could be fantastic. How about a wife?
はあ。
You don't have to think too deeply about it. What I'm saying is you could take on a normal job if you ever wanted to. Besides, can't you just let go of this powerful familiar of yours?
手放すのは、
I see.
なんかよくわからなくなってきます。
I do think it's interesting that he mentioned a wife and she just kind of skated through it. I thought she'd have a reaction, but she didn't. She was like, huh. Confusion is part of being young.
小太郎はどうなんです？
Me?
小太郎だって今こうしてる理由なんか曖昧じゃないですか。
I have my reasons.
そうなんです？
He's like, I don't know if I could explain it to you, considering it's you. I mean, if I had to say it, I'd do it all for you. That isn't a declaration of love. I don't know what is. But should I say it? What if she rejects me? Actually, I don't know what I'll do even if she accepts me. This is a major problem. Dang it. How do I do all these guys get girls to accept them? I don't know, man. You wing it? With me in high school, though, you just kind of wait around well past the point where you actually know you're doing exactly what I used to do in high school. What I used to do in high school, and oddly it ended up working out, is you sit in your hands, terrified to move forward, scared of what would happen if you break up what you've got, because what you've got's really great, even though you really want it to be more. They spend time around you, you spend a lot of time together, like even alone, and you do all kinds of activities, you talk to each other pretty much every day. They start to rely on you, they make it very clear they start to rely on you. They start to talk about like having a future together. You joke about like you joke about like I remember we definitely did this. We joked about the idea saying like, hey, you know, if we both get to like 40 and we haven't got married, let's just get married together. You know, that's practically saying like I think we could be a successful relationship, but you're terrified of like messing it up, and then you just move forward with it, and yeah, just you just gotta like essentially what you start doing, you start ignoring the signs that like it might be a good time to move because you're terrified. You're gonna keep messing up, and you really like where things are right now, and you want to just get better. It's stupid. It's hard though because it's so embarrassing and scary. So I totally get it. I've absolutely been there before. But the idea is that like you take those chances sometimes. I don't know about just blatantly confessing right here. Would be like, well, I'm not sure I can just sit back now that I know some things without knowing more. But I also am really concerned about you. Like I would throw that in, be like, look, I know you're really strong, but I also don't want to just watch on the sidelines while you risk your life. You know, I want to help. You know, like that'd be a good way to broach it, I think. And I think in real life that kind of applies where like you can tell people that they matter to you, but you don't have to tell them that they're the only thing that matters to you. In fact, that they shouldn't. But, you know, when you're in love, that's kind of what you feel like, especially when you're first in love.
大丈夫です?
Chihaya draws closer, making me even more conscious of her. I'm like doing this for you. Wasn't perfect, but I said it. I mean, you know, I'm half doing this for myself and for you. Still think about our time in the RS. And I really liked being with you. And I still do, so... I mean, you know. Oh! My lips keep moving, but nothing makes sense. If he's in babble mode. I'm experienced enough to tease her, but not enough to seal the deal.
ちょっとよくわからないんですけど、とりあえずって話してほしいんですけど。
When did we grab her hand? Oh, apparently I grabbed it at some point. I'm blushing so much I can't face her. We're acting like a couple of middle schoolers.
なんか聞こえません?
Huh? What is that? An earthquake? Oh, fetch. A fissure opens up at the concrete floor. What is this?
崩れます!
Crack rushes to my feet. Crap.
危ない!
I'm being pushed away, and the floor beneath Chihaya's feet crumbles. Chihaya!
いいから離れてください!
I reach out my hand, but... Fetch. Chihaya is swallowed by the hole before I can reach her. Chihaya! The earthquake stops. Chihaya, answer me! I shout down the hole into the ground.
大丈夫です!
Oh, thank goodness. That's a relief.
私は大丈夫ですから気をつけてください! なんかいます! ここ!
Something? What? I look around. Silence. Doesn't look like there's anything anywhere. Anyway, can you get up here?
無理です! 高すぎます! おーい! なんだよ! どうしたんだ?
Gil comes flying in. Chihaya fell down a hole.
なんてことしてんだよ! しっかり守れよてめえ!
There was no time. I didn't think Gil of all people would be pressing me on this. Still, he's right. Maybe I can push her up with the aura? I look down the hole. It's deep and really dark. I don't think the aurora will work. Gil, could you lead Chihaya up here?
いいけどよ。すみません。
Oh,
足くじいちゃって。
fetch. All that strength won't do much good. Let's hope this is the worst of it.
じゃあちょっくら。
I'll be like, okay, hang on. Gil, can you lead me down there? What?
なんか来る!
Huh? Oh no. Rush of wind and a block of concrete. Whoa! どうしたんです?
まさか初手でこれほどうまくいくとは。
The red-robed man is floating. It's him. Whether it's Tenjin or Tenma?
天魔だ。
Tenma it is. But now it's not the time to worry about stuff like that.
来い犬ども
The ground beneath his feet starts growling. Great. Again with the black dogs.
貴様ごとき野良猫こいつらで十分だ。さて尋問と行こう。鍵はどこだ
Hell if I know.
そうか
What?
運符天符というが今日の私はよほど天運に恵まれているらしい。
Gotta say, I'm not a fan of this guy.
ここで野良猫と出会うということは
You wanna stop being cryptic? Tell me what's going on your mind?
貴様鍵など持ってはいないな。ここに来る理由は何だ。 魔物の補充か？そんなことはない。貴様は狩猟者だ。
Hunter. I wonder if that's the term for the operatives that work outside Gaia that try and hunt him down.
ではここに鍵が隠してあるか？それもない。ならば一つ。貴様は我々を欺くおとりで、鍵はまだ見つかっていない。そういう結論にならないか？
Which means Prez used me as bait. These guys must have been listening in during the meeting.
小太郎、逃げてください。そうだ、逃げろ。こいつやべえって。
逃すと思うか？貴様は知りすぎている。生かしておくと厄介だ。
Crap.
散々引っかき回してくれたお礼もせねばなるまい。
His dogs loom closer. They must be getting ready to pounce. And they're moving as a pack, too.
下にいるのは最強のお嬢さんか？残念だが、ここで歓喜の方は使えまい。
小太郎、なんとかして合流しますから、この空間から逃げてください。
But
いいから逃げて。
fine.
させんと言っている。行け、犬ども。
Calm down, Gil. You need to lead me to the exit. Run, boy, run. I run after Gil. Of course they are. They're catching up. We can't keep running. I have to fight. Ooh, he's doing two-handed sword. One of the black dogs pounced without giving me a chance to breathe. You little... I jump to the side. My body feels so light I almost smack into the wall. Huh. Twist my body and plant my feet on the wall. Rah! Rebound off the wall to stab the black dog in the side. Got it. Gotta keep going. The dogs are catching up at different rates, so there must be a degree of variation between them. I'll kill one at a time while we're running. I can do this! Transform to your dual wrist blade form. Take this! I point my arms right down their fanged maws. Whoop! And then I enlarge the blades. I've done this move so much it's become a staple. I skewer the black dogs and split them in half. I mean, his training's paying off. Sakuya, thank you. I'll never get used to how gross this is. It melts away and disappears. I know, I got really strong somehow. Yeah, I jumped 6 steps in one leap. Where's the exit? What? Oh, fetch, they rotated. I'm talking about multi-dimensional places. Okay, so here's a good example. To try and understand what extra-dimensional spaces should behave like if you're going to be working off of the physical model, the physics side of it. So, and I'm not, technically, you can say we live in a 3-dimensional world in 4 dimensions because the dimension of time could count as one because it's a measure of where physical 3-dimensional objects are at different points in time. But that's kind of a observation-based dimension, not literally an extra dimension of physical space. But you can do a kind of a mental, the way a 4th-dimensional space can look or act can be easily replicated by trying to imagine how a 3-dimensional object would appear in a 2-dimensional world. So if you had a person or a being that could live and think in 2 dimensions, they live in a plane that's perfectly flat. That means that the only thing they ever witness are the edges of other objects. So other people or other spaces or other things in their dimension, they just see them as barriers that share different areas. They can be different shapes, they can be different makeups, but they essentially are just kind of there's space where you can move and space that you cannot move through, or something in between, maybe something similar to a viscous liquid, but still you can imagine these barriers. Now if you took a 3-dimensional sphere and you passed it through the 2-dimensional plane, if you have a 2-dimensional plane here and a 3-dimensional object that goes and phases interacting with that plane and goes through to a 2-dimensional person, it would look like a 2-dimensional object that spontaneously grows bigger and then shrinks and vanishes. So it appears from nowhere, grows bigger and shrinks. Another thing you could imagine is if you had, say, so I'll use an example, I'll use my phone. So if this is a 2-dimensional plane and the phone starts passing through, it's stuck halfway. To a 2-dimensional being, they only see this slice of it. And that slice has the properties of the phone's length, width, and height as it is now, right? But then what if I took this object that's partially stuck in the 2-dimensional plane and I rotated it? Suddenly, on that two-dimensional plane, all its attributes have completely changed. The way it responds to the world, the way it appears, the way it would even be interacted with would completely shift. But the nature of the object, the three-dimensional object, has not changed at all. It's just been rotated. But on 2 dimensions, rotation doesn't really mean much. Like not in a sense of a three-dimensional object being rotated. It might appear different, and in its final resting spot, it has like standardized dimensions in this vertical slice that you could define. But the ability for it to rotate would completely defy logic as far as a two-dimensional being would go, because it would seem to do so without any interference or energy input from the two-dimensional plane, right? Because my fingers outside on the third dimension are what rotate it. It would be essentially the same thing to someone waving their hand and making a building like disappear and then reappear in a different city. That's very similar to what that would be. It would look like teleportation, but all it would be is a shift in a different dimension. So we take this theory and we move it to the third dimension and talk about fourth dimensional space. Fourth dimensional space, if you were to enter or to like interact with fourth dimensional objects, they would still look like three-dimensional objects to us because we perceive them, but we would be missing large parts of it. It's very similar to how a two-dimensional slice of this phone misses easily 99% of the actual object. So if you're in a fourth dimensional plane, but you're a three-dimensional being, you would see the fourth dimensional planes in relation to what you're used to, but there'd be a lot of that material that just wouldn't be something you could comprehend. But that material could be moved by forces beyond the third dimension. So what probably happened here is that this exit, or this space in general, got rotated by some type of force that exercises this fourth dimension, which is why the entire structure just suddenly changed. There was a giant rift that appeared. This guy can float because he's being held up by forces that we can't comprehend or even grasp. That would probably don't work in the three-dimensional world completely. And the entrance has now phased away. But the thing is, like, the entrance isn't actually gone. It's just no longer accessible by our three-dimensional limitations in this four-dimensional space. So it moved is a great way to summarize what happened if we're talking about dimensional movements that could look and feel a lot like magic, but actually makes sense in the physical space. I hope that makes a lot of sense. It's a really cool slice of physics of something that I actually recently started kind of like looking into a bit more and getting a better comprehension of, because I was asked recently what the difference was, and I'd always thought it was simply like thinking about the dimensions in time being a fourth dimension, which kind of counts. But again, if you're talking about pure physical dimensions, the fourth dimension and subsequent dimensions behave in these different ways, which is why it's hard to do. Like, if you want to try and mentally practice what it would be like dealing with a fourth dimensional object, think of a cube, and then think of when you think of the fourth dimensional cube hypothesis is a tesseract, which looks like a little cube inside the bigger cube. What you don't realize is that to form that miniature cube, you have lines that go in to this cube, but each of those lines going in is supposed to be a full three-dimensional cube going towards the core of a three-dimensional cube. So it has right angles that move in, but somehow condense into a smaller space. That doesn't actually work. We can't build anything like that because it doesn't real. So like a tesseract picture is meant to just symbolize what's going on there, which is essentially a cube that's made up of cubes perfectly, which normally can't be made. You can't make like internal cubes inside a cube in that style, where there's a perfect cube at the center, and then so the bigger cube and a perfect cube at the center, and then is attached by perfect 90-degree angled cubes all the way down. Like, that space doesn't technically work in 3 dimensions, but mathematically it works if you have 4 dimensions. Anyway, what did?
この回いじられた。壁とかなかったし、場所わかんねえ。
You what?
とにかく逃げないと。
Guy run. What do you mean you messed with this floor?
あいつこの空間いじれるみたいだ。構造変えやがったんだ。
Seriously? Shouldn't we be just beat him up and get out then?
あいつがマジの魔物出してきたら絶対やばいんだって。絶対殺される。
Wait, these dogs aren't real?
そうだな。その通りだ。
Crap.
何やら妙なものを飼っているようだが、どうやらなかなかのアドバイザーのようだな。
He's coming from below.
野良猫と思って甘く見すぎたか。教えておいてやるが、 逃げたところであの魔物使いはしばらくここから出られまいよ。
What? The only other summoner here is... What did you do to Chihaya?
何、大したことではない。ただ少々出口を隠しただけだ。
I can't even save her.
もう一つ教えてやろう。出口はこの私の真後ろだ。
Yeah. Then it looks like we have to throw down.
やる？何をだ？そこの妙なものが言った通りだ。私と対峙すれば貴様にあるのは絶対的な死のみだ。
I feel like he's just teasing us. He's playing with us. Well, I'm stronger than you think.
笑えん冗談だ。よかろう、見せてやろう。貴様にとって絶望しかない現実をな。
Unfortunately, this feels like it's his reality marble. It's his to shape freely. Where do you get these lines, man? Some cheap light novel?
言ってる場合じゃねえ。控えして巻いた方がまだ。
遅い。
Oh.
来い。クリボイログ。
Alright, so here, first time we're seeing a real familiar. Beyond maybe the dragon. Oh no. Oh boy. What the fetch is that? It looks like a super spider demon.
とうとう出ちまった。
No, that's like a squid, scorpion, spider. What the fetch is that? What the hell is that thing? Creature looks ridiculous. Yeah. I hope it comes into focus. But yeah, there it is. Oh my gosh. Looks like a spider's been crossed with a mollusk. Okay, yeah, I was right. It's like, what is this Cthulhu-esque horror? Good grief. Look at that thing. Giant black body gleams mysteriously. It looks nothing like any animal I've ever seen before. This thing is insanely huge. Have you ever been in front of a speeding dump truck? This is probably more terrifying than I've been in my life. The fear is paralyzing. But until the point of impact. What the hell?
クリボイログ。鉄鉱石。同サイズ最強の捕食者。それに巨大生物の混合体。
So its flesh is made of iron, conceptualized as apex predators, and fused with essentially a Cthulhu-esque Eldritch Horror. What do you call it? A conceptual creature. He took raw material, real creatures, and then used as like a glue the creativity of H.P. Lovecraft.
その通り。ガイア内でも重要研究秘匿事項扱い。目撃されていれば古代には神話となったであろう魔物よ。
So it's a recreation of something. How much you want to bet this thing's going to be called Leviathan? Because Leviathan is a reference of a monster from the Bible that talks about a monster of the sea that can spit lightning and fire.
どうした野良猫？声も出ないか？
My knees feel wobbly. Feel like I'm a frog staring down a snake. No, feel like a frog staring down a car. Speeding on the highway toward you. Alarm bells blare in my brain. Warning, life-threatening emergency.
だがそれでは困る。貴様には選ぶ権利を与えてやりたいのでな。選択肢だ。叩き潰されて一瞬で死ぬか、くびり殺され少しでも長くこの世の生を感じるか、こいつに食われてみるか。
It sounds worse, but I mean, I feel like if you got eaten, you might have more options, but I don't like any of it. Tenma boasts about his oh so generous options. Come on, legs. Might even end up taking one of those options at this rate. None of the above, I yell, dispelling some of the fear. Oh, your options suck. I'm making my own path. Two-handed sword. The sword is supposed to be enormous. Whoa, that thing looks crazy. But it looks like a toothpick compared to the monstrosity before me. Get out of here, Gil. Fine, if you're gonna stay and help me. Gil dives into my bag. Idiot.
逃すと思うのか？
Damn it.
抵抗するならするがいい。逃げるなら逃げるがいい。ただし、行き着く先は叩き潰されるだけだ。
Not having truly faced my death, I can't say this for sure, but I do like to think that even in an end, like even if I were facing something like this down, I would say that death isn't the worst thing you can face. Going down, fighting, even if it's fruitless, there's value to it, I think. What do I do? Consider the ways I might survive. Number 1, this thing is actually way weaker than it looks. 2, this thing is as slow as it looks, it can easily outrun it. 3, a hero shows up and beats it for me. 4.
もはや貴様は行くことも引くこともかなわん。
Here it comes. I wasn't finished thinking. Crap! Tentacle smashes the concrete and flings it with great speed. Was this thing that broke the wall earlier? Well, I have time to react. Oh, I can't quite dodge it. The creature's flexible metallic tentacles reach for my arm. Oh no! I feel my right hand take a hit, and then a sensation like shattering glass. What? Did my arm shatter? No, it's the bandage. Its surface of Chihaya's bandage shattered like glass.
妙な術を使うな。
Technique.
お守りです。
Oh! It really was a charm. Must have been some sort of barrier. Did it take a hit for me? Oh, crap. Anyway, this is no paper tiger. It's as powerful as it looks.
なら小細工などできんよ。
Tentacles whip up from the ground. In that case... I'm gonna die. Every time I've had these choices, I pick the one that where I die. I feel like attacking it's a bad idea. I think running is impossible, so let's start attacking. Body! Wait, this thing's main body is a human controlling it. Wouldn't it kill him if I stabbed him with my sword? I hesitate for a moment. And I'm dead. Then I go swing down from a blind spot. I swear, I'm so bad at living in this game. I am such a bad Kotarou. And that was the cause of my death. Made the wrong move, I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Yeah. Play the screen. Go back to last option. Yes, thank you, game. I'm aware.
もはや貴様は
Yeah, wasn't there thinking. Slip. Run! Have to run. Take one step back, then a second. And make a break for it.
逃げられると思うのか
The familiar chases me with Tenma standing on its head. This is 1,000 times worse than the dump truck. Even though I just enhanced myself, I'm remaining at full speed, but the familiar catches up with ease. Can't outrun it at this pace. Push the needle
ど
forward.
うした追いついてしまうぞ
Shit! Wah!
圧倒的である
He's really full of himself. B's got it acting like he's already won. Pisses me off, but I can't do a thing about it.
踏み潰してくれる
But then an inspiration. Can I pull it off? Well, if I can't, it will be the end of me. Ugh. I turn my sword into a whip. The longer the better.
下がれ
The familiar stops.
貴様何をするつもりだ
He notices that I'm up to something.
私は無計画だが目の前の事象については慎重派だ私の行動をトリガーにトラップを仕掛けるつもりか
You know, it'd be a terrible plan if I just told you about it.
総合的に貴様の実力を判断しすでに勝ちは決まっているのだよき
Too bad. The trap's already been sprung. There's such a thing as being too careful.
何
This guy should really learn how to stop talking too. I have more than enough time now thanks to that. Preparation complete. Go! I lash out with my whip.
これは
And whap it around the monster's legs. Just a little more! The aura turns into a giant loop to tie the familiar's legs. Not much of a trap, sure, but it's good enough to stall him. We're getting out of here! I pull Gil out of hiding.
おお、なんかやったんか
Just lead the way!
あっち
We can talk later. The thing's not gonna hold for long. I need a minute. No, just 30 seconds. I pause. I'm gonna die in a second if I don't get a bit stronger. Full body enhance! 2 seconds. That was the fastest I've ever done that. Things are different when your life's on the line.
クリボイ力引きちぎれ小尺な野良猫だ
The familiar braces against the aurora ropes and immediately rips them to pieces. Guess they got weaker as I keep making more of them. For a moment I get a bit lightheaded. The aurora is made of my blood after all. and I'm getting anemia. But there's no time to waste! I run a lot faster than before.
見えた階段
Great.
もう追ってくる
The familiar's monstrous form is behind this. Dang it, that wasn't even 10 seconds!
逃しません
Gotta hurry. Oh god. The familiar's tentacle smashes the staircase. We're going down!
飛べ
Already on it. I hop across the falling rubble and up the stairs. Made it. But then... Dang it!
逃さんと言ったはずだ
You just brought it through? Crap. I didn't think you could bring it through the physical world. This whole thing feels like a nightmare. Can't escape. I have to fight.
よせやめろ勝てるわけねえだろ
Dang it! I run down the hallway. A monster that size should be constricted by these tight corridors. Lizard breaks them.
ちょろちょろとクリボイログ
Here it comes. The tentacle lashes after me. Ah! It whips against my back, sending me flying several meters down the hallway. God! And I slam into a wall. God, we jumped out a window! Pain courses through my entire body.
おい大丈夫かよ
Somehow. It's a good thing I enhanced myself while running earlier. Would have died on the impact otherwise. Crap, that thing's ridiculous. Running away is my only option. I fight the pain and get it back up. Up.
えなんで
If that thing comes from above us, we're as good as pancakes. We at least have a chance to survive getting tentacled from below.
そうか
Up the stairs. We climb the stairs. If that thing destroys the staircase, we're screwed. After 3 or 4 floors, I turn back to the hallway. It's not coming after us? The hallway's so tight it can't move. I should take my time and enhance myself more.
窓
Oh. Oh, it's flying! That's not fair. It's inflating its octopus-like head like a hot air balloon.
逃げろ逃げろ
Don't have to tell me twice, I sprint! God, it's just breaking the windows. I cannot run!
窓だ
Break through the glass and jump out the window. What floor are we on? Oh, the 4th. God! I hit the ground. Huh? I look at the school building. It's still in one piece? After all that destruction?
ここ外だ
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
空間の外だぜ
What? I look around. Our surroundings don't look as dreadful as before.
ここなら全力で逃げられるな家までダッシュで行けるか
We're back in reality. Back where there are people at night. Oh no. I remember the blood the black dog shed. What if that thing starts attacking the town? No, sorry, I'm not doing that.
なんでだよ
They'll kill anyone they suspect to be a witness.
言ってる場合かよ俺らが死ぬぞ
You can go ahead.
できるか俺だけ残ったらその方が寝覚め悪いわ
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying. I don't want innocent people to get involved in this.
あ納得
He's like, I can't sleep if I let people die. I have to do this. Help is nowhere to be seen, and we'll probably end up dead if we run away.
逃さんと言っている
Above. It's falling down on us. Ah, crap! Forcible familiar landing launches rubble in all directions. Talk to you, please. I hate relying on you for a Hail Mary, but I think we need you. It's so powerful, it feels like an explosion. I'm blown away, sending me rolling across the ground. Ugh. I groan and get up. Can't see a thing because of the dust. Hang on. It might be our chance. We're tiny compared to that humongous thing, and maybe we could use the dust to set up an ambush, unless it can see better than you. I just need a little help. You want to be useful, Gil?
なんだ
Take my jacket and go be bait.
めっちゃ危険
It can't see if it can't see through the dust, you might be our only chance to mount an ambush.
お前マジでやる気かよ
I have to try. No, I'm sure gonna try. The longer we waver, the thinner the dust cloud will get. I take my jacket off, hand it to Gil. Spread it out as much as you can.
攻撃食らうだろ
You managed to survive getting run over by a dump truck, you'll survive this one.
痛いんですけど
Gil flies away at a diagonal.
どこへ行ったそこか
Gotcha. I kick the ground beneath me and sleep toward the familiar. Ah! Shouldn't have made a noise. My attack bounces off.
何かと思えばクリボイログの広角は戦車砲の一撃をたやすく弾くほどに堅陣だ。その気になれば核の一撃にすら耐えてみせよ。
How convenient. Dang it! This thing's like a wall. I morph the Aurora to a spear and go for another attack. I jam the spear into it with all my strength, but it's no use. There's only a little scratch where the spear tip landed. Maybe it has a weakness somewhere. No. Its entire body's covered in seamless plating. What about the eyes?
無駄なことを。
Come on! I get on top of its head, switch the hammer, and start bashing.
いかんいかん。それほどいたぶられては傷だらけになってしまうな。反撃せねばなるまい。クリボイログ!
Uh-oh. I barely managed to crouch down in time. I feel like a bug sticking to a person. When I was little, I remember getting pinched by a stag beetle at a pet shop. Felt like my finger were getting cut in getting cut with a tiny pair of scissors. It only left a small mark on me. But it might have died if there were hundreds of the little monsters. Alas, I'm all alone. I'm shaking off. I think I'll get it now. This familiar is made of iron. It's definitely tougher than iron, although it's supple enough to move at great speeds. Familiars have strange powers to begin with, so this thing must have an iron body. Which means I need something sharper that can fell more than just trees. Have I ever actually tried this? But what if I can enhance the Aurora?
どうした? もう諦めたか?
Man, wouldn't it be great if you could use the Aurora and think of like a pop culture reference that's really good at cutting through solid iron? You know? Maybe use the Force in some way with like a handle and a glowing saber that almost looks like Aurora anyway. That could just magically cut through iron. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be cool? If you had something that was like a saber of light, maybe? He's gagging me on. I'm dead if I come at him now. There's a vast difference of power that he can look down at me without worrying about the possibility of a counterattack. Only one way to find out. Focus. No good. Feels the same as when I tried to enhance my smarts in the past. Can't get any clear image of it.
どうした? とうとう覚悟を決めたか?
I don't have enough strength. Can't win. I can't run. No help is coming. But he must be right. Despair. Is there no hope left for me? No. I can still enhance myself. The Aurora might manage to hurt it. If I go faster and harder, I should be able to do more damage. But I'm going to have to enhance myself even more. I have to be stronger than a tank shell? But if I do that... A voice echoes in my head while I'm thinking about it. Right. I know that, but... I hate how risky it really is. It feels so bad. Too dangerous. Everyone keeps telling me that. And now I'm telling myself that it's dangerous too. I'd lose myself if I beat this thing while enhanced, and what would the point of that be?
あがくのは終わりか? 本当に覚悟を決めたか?
Something creative application, man. The same problem with the Green Lantern. He can literally do whatever he imagines. His imagination just seems to be limited to giant hammer. I have to think. Does this thing not have a weakness? It has to be somewhere I can attack. What about joints? Hard shell covers everywhere I can see. Don't think it has weak spots like a suit of armor.
一つ聞かせろ。なぜ貴様、私本体を狙わない?
That thought had crossed my mind. But because you're human, I don't want to kill you.
ふざけているのか?
I wish it was. But I've got my own goals, which don't include me becoming a murderer.
それが貴様の死の要因だ.
Yeah.
いいだろう。蹂躙しろ、クリボイログ!
The familiar's head starts swelling, just like what I saw through the window. The belly seems to be spewing something up to propel itself. If I attack that... Wait. That thing can slam down the ground harder than anything I can produce. Squid on a stick, anyone? Just need to make the Aurora as hard and sharp as possible. A spear. No, if I let it crush it out on me, it'll be all over. I need something I can fix to the ground like a cross. My eyes are hazy and I'm losing consciousness. How many times have I used Aurora today? I think I'm nearing my limit. but I just gonna have to push it further.
なんだまだあがくか
Oh! There. The spear is now twice my height. The familiar's already falling towards me fast. I can't make any sudden changes in its trajectory now. Perfect! I stick the crossed spear in the ground and flee. The spear makes contact with the familiar, the metallic ripping sound. Oh. Sharp point catches the familiar, but it doesn't go through it.
小尺な真似を小賢しい実に小賢しい所業である
Use it to weight against it.
そうか腹が弱いとでも思ったか
Cross spear slowly loses its glow. It splits in half and turns back into blood. Oh, come on. I'm out of options. There's no way I can beat this thing.
いい表情だ人は皆絶対的な死を前にした瞬間その表情をする
It's always the real shame in stories that these are the kind of people who get power and like the ability to deal in death.
私はその瞬間なんとも恍惚とした気分になるだがその屈辱と恐怖を私は知っている苦しまぬよう一瞬で叩き潰してくれよ
Dude, you really need to cut back on the manga and light novels.
何
What great last words, Kotarou. I still have my sword.
クリボイログ
Oh! Ah! I'm blown away.
救いがたい貴様死や恐怖が物語の中だけのものだとでも私はそういう国で過ごしてきた目の前で殺され殺す国だ
That sucks.
死は日常だったそして今も死が日常として目の前にある貴様のようにのうのうと平和ボケして生きてきた人間とは違うのだ機関銃を突きつけられたことがあるか同じほどの子供が血まみれで殺されている隣でだ
I can't imagine.
あの世で英霊様方に聞くがいい修羅場というのがどういう意味かをな
The tip of the familiar's tentacle grabs me. Ah! I feel something like claws digging into my arms.
叩きつけろ
Well, it's squeezing me to death. Feels like every vein in my body is about to pop. Pain courses through me, but I can't move.
さすがにそろそろ抵抗もできんか
The familiar whips my body to the ground, but I crawl back toward it. I can't attack the thing if I crawl away. I need something. Something, anything.
貴様自分が死なないとでも思っているのかなぜ向き直るなぜクリボイログを睨むなぜ諦めん
He really just likes breaking people. It's like he's so obsessed with it, he's not finishing it. Beats me.
まあいいどのみちこれで最後だその程度で我々の世界に踏み込んだことをやれクリボイログ
The tip of the tentacle bears down on me. I'm dead. That thing's gonna shoot right through me. Sorry, Chihaya. I couldn't give you back the ordinary life you finally had. This is the end. But then, Hail Mary, I'm guessing Sakuya's here. I see it. The tip of the tentacle. Everything else is armor plated, but this one spot is supple. A weak spot. I lock on, charge at it with great speed. My body reflexively moves once my brain circuits set the target. I use all my strength to rush to the weak point. Take out the sword in my right hand. Stab! Whatever's left of my bandage on my right arm falls away. Probably absorbed most of the shock, but my sword had pierced deep into the tentacle.
No.
Only one thing left to do. Blow it up! Awaken! He's gonna grow like a tree inside it. A flood of white washes over my eyes. That was my last attack. I put everything into it. But...
やってくれたな
My familiar remains, despite having lost a limb. I couldn't beat it. It doesn't seem affected, it's still approaching me silently. Very unsettling.
今のが貴様の最後の手か
It was. I can't use the Aurora anymore. I don't have anything left. I can barely stand on my own 2 feet. It's over. It's all over. It's like starting a boss fight with 1 HP. One more turn and it's game over. Are you sure you have nothing left to worry about? I might have another trick up my sleeve.
まだ手を残しているとすればそれは驚きだが 貴様は今の一手が万に一つ手に入れた最大の勝機だったはず。その一撃で勝負を決することができなかった。何千何万分に一つの勝機を逃したのだ。それがもう一度やってくることはない。
I mean, it was pretty brilliant.
つまりチェックメイトだということだ。
He's right. I've cheated death 3 times so far, but I'm spent. I'm out of tricks. Can't think of anything. I don't have the energy to think. I've drawn a blank. My mind is empty. The moon? I wonder if I can still see it tonight. I don't know why I'm thinking about the moon. Maybe I just want to look at something beautiful before I kick the bucket. In any case, I turn to the moon. Suddenly, a shadow leaps from the hazy moonlight. Oh. A man. That is Sakuya. He's wearing his cool outfit though. Look at that. Wearing a black suit with shades of purple. Sands of white bandage blowing about him in the wind. The man looks down at us from the blue moonlight. Sakuya?
あれはクリボイログ、避けろ!
And then the shadow dances.
間に合わん、防げ!
Holy crap, a sharp ring. Sound of clashing blades. You hear it a lot in period dramas. You can hear it as clear as day. Did he splice it in half? He did! Holy crap.
バカな。
The man melts into the shadows and disappears. What? What was that? Hallucination? But the familiar I was confronting has collapsed.
おのれ、最強の魔物。これほどとは。
Oh. Wait. Sakuya is a familiar? Or maybe he's like a hybrid. Like, because he definitely feels like a person. But if he is a familiar, that explains a lot, actually. Whoa! That's cool! The magic circuits of Tenma's feet are shrinking rapidly. It's like glowing haze of being sucked into the circle. Uh-oh. Too much of his life force is being pulled back. Tenma's in pain. But why? What's going on?
Tenma!
Another scream. Another man in a red hood. Mido.
Mido!
やられたか。
The magic circles disappears.
なぜだ?
クリボイログはまだ生きている。傷を癒すために、お前の命を吸い尽くしたんだろうよ。
Yeah, he'd have to break the contract to live, I think.
そういうことか。
White threads fall from underneath Tenma's hood. Hair. His hair is turning white and falling like snow.
バカが。常日頃無茶ばかりしていたせいだ。
I remember what Chihaya told me. About how familiars use their summoner's life force to survive. Tenma is all used up.
ミド。受け取れ。
Tenma's feet glow faintly. Palm-sized bird appears.
てめえ。
He puts it in Mido's hand.
受け取った。お前の記憶。
Oh man, that makes sense. It's what the mistletoe was for Kotarou, the memories of like past druids. So the summoners have a system too.
ああ。どうした?なぜ目を伏せる?
見ちゃいらんねえからだよ。てめえのボロクズになった姿。
そうか。貴様でも憐憫の情があったか。
本能だ。人が長年見てきたものを憐れむのは本能だろうよ。
長年か。お前がそんな情を持つようになったのはいつだ?市街戦の砲撃を受けた時か。
あったな。てめえは俺を身を挺して守ってくれた。あのクリボイログのおかげだとは後で知ったがな。だがそうじゃねえ。初めてこの国に来た時、お前が鼻炎薬を持ってきてくれた時さ。花粉症ってやつか?あの時死ぬほど辛かった。 それがあれで治ったんだ。心底ありがたいと思った。
That's all it took.
やはりお前はぶっ壊れてるよ。
今更だ。
They laugh together. The two long-time war buddies share one last conversation, and their laughter echoes in the quiet night.
さて。
ああ、お別れだ。
うん。
アバよ。
ああ。さらばだ。
What? What just happened? Mito's cackle echoes through the night as Tenma's body is consumed by flames. He looks at the burning body and laughs. And laughs. I don't understand. I thought they were friends. So why did he burn him? His friend. The flames shoot up like a pillar. Eventually, it hardens enough to turn to a viscous liquid. An orange glowing fluid. A fluid known as lava. The lava shifts and coalesces around the flames. And then it melts into the ground, leaving only burnt rubble in its tracks.
やってくれたな、小僧。いや、クリボイログをやったのは、最強の魔物様か。
That shadow earlier. That was Sakuya.
どうした？何をほうけていやがる？天魔のことか？
Why did you...
ん？この国では仮装が一般的かと思ったが、てめえはそうじゃねえのか？
That's not... He was your friend.
仲間？確かにこいつは仲間だった。幾度の視線を共に越えてきた仲だ。だからなんだ？
You are quite a few cracks. Like I'm not sure what I'm trying to say. He's a few tools short of a toolbox. I don't understand.
平和な世界から一転、修羅場に踏み込んだってところか。覚悟しておきな。てめえはこれからこんな光景を見る。幾度もだ。俺とてめえが敵同士になったってことは。
I only know one thing. This man can kill without hesitation. His sense of ethics is nothing like mine. He lacks even basic empathy. Nothing is sacred to him.
いいだろう。今は非行じゃねえか。野良猫。殺す。
I'm sure.
街中でも気をつけな。俺は単細胞で、せいぜいそのボロクズみたいな体を直しておくこった。
He's like, I want you to have a fighting chance. I want to make it fun. Is he gone? Crap. My legs fold underneath me. I hear voices ringing in the distance, and my consciousness fades away. Sounds like Sakuya got her out. A sound. I can hear something. A burning sound. It's Tenma. Well, that's creepy. It's surround sound, but multiple points. So it sounds like he's surrounding me laughing. I hear Mito's voice. Stop it! He's your friend! There's fire beneath my feet. It burns. It's burning my legs, hips, arms, even hair. My whole body's covered in flames. It hurts! Like a million needles stabbing me. He's killing me. Here we are. I think that's a good place for us to end. So, that's some interesting reveals. It was really cool. I got to have like a nice little discussion about the fourth dimension and fourth dimensional spaces and like my theory of how it's all working. I wonder if it's anywhere close to the mark or if it is just more magical stuff. The Cthulhu demon was pretty sweet. Sakuya being the strongest familiar. Like, I'm sure we'll get a better explanation in the next part, but it seems pretty clear that's what it was explaining. Which is interesting, though, because Sakuya made it sound like they had been unable to be successful at making an intelligent, like, self-sustaining familiar. So maybe Sakuya is not purely self-sustaining, but he has a personality. And it seems way more complicated than, like, Kotaru's parents, who, like, you know, they kind of shone through a little bit, but they were still a very basic version of themselves. Where Sakuya feels like a fairly complete person, individually. So yeah, we'll have to see. I'm really curious to learn more about that, but I'm very excited. That was a good episode. I had a lot of fun. Thank you so much for letting me share this with you and for being there, especially to the patrons and members. Your belief in the channel and your desire to help me be successful means the world to me. I'm really grateful for your support and hope I'm doing a good job living up to it. Got a lot of exciting stuff going on. Legend of Heroes is about to draw to a close, and we'll see what we do after that. We also are coming near to the end of my Knights of the Republic playthrough, which is funny that they're both ending around the same time. But the Knights of the Republic playthrough was always a stopgate and a prelude to Starfield, which, by the way, I know Starfield has been getting kind of meh reports lately, and I think that they're probably fair based on what I've heard. But here's the thing. My playthrough of it, I do plan to make it personalized and make it I make it a bit more roleplay-y. Not super cringy or anything like that, but I do plan to not make decisions based on what I think is optimal, but rather based on like a character that I'm building a profile around of like who I'm playing as. So I'm hoping that'll make it a little more interesting. It certainly worked, in my opinion, really well for the Knights of the Republic series, both 1 and 2, where instead of just playing the games, because I knew those games so well, I could just min-max the whole thing and it'd be kind of boring. So rather, I played it by a specific set of character rules, and I'm going to be implementing that in the same way for this game. So I think it'll be a really fun way to take it. And of course, like any Bethesda game, the real fun comes from recognizing it's a sandbox, not expecting it to be a cultivated experience for you, but having an impactful, like really home-driven story. But rather, it's about the stories you make and the stories you tell. And that's what I plan to do with that. But enough rambling about that. I just felt like sharing. So, hope you have a great rest of your week. Hope you have a good start to your December as we wind down to the end of the year. Hopefully you have a good time. So, thank you so much. And until next video watching me, or see me in next. I'll see you there.